So, dear friends, today we'll have a discussion on the obstacles of yoga as stated by Marshy Patanjali, and also the aids to yoga and the means to overcome those obstacles. So, it's a very nice sloka wherein Marshy Patanjali highlights the obstacles to yoga. So let us start with three omkars. I offer my pranams to Marshy Patanjali. Yogena chittasya padena vacham malam sharirasche yo vaidyakina yopakarotam pravaram muninam patanjali pranjalirānatoshmi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I dedicate this work to Marshy Patanjali himself because he is the original source from where it has come. So let us start. So this is the sloka wherein Marshy Patanjali says Vyadi Sthana Samsaya Pramada Alasya Avirati Branti Darshana Alabdha Bhumikatvana Vastitvani Chitta Vikshepa Antaraya. So we'll study each of this item, that is Vyadi, Sthana, Samsaya, Pramada, Alasya, Avirati, Branti Darshana, Alabdha Bhumikatva, Avastitvani, Chitta Vikshepa Antaraya. These are called Chitta Viksheps or distractions of the mind, and they are in the form of Antaraya, that is obstacles. Okay, so let us go ahead and see the next sloka. Marshy Patanjali says ki Vyadhi is the first obstacle in the path of yoga. When we are suffering from disease, it is not easy to practice yoga. The body and mind does not cooperate fully. At times it is advisable to take rest in such a situation. In others, just persist. Means when the mind is suffering, it's obviously not easy to do practice yoga. It may be a chronic disease, it may be an acute disease, but wherever it's necessary, we can take rest as advised by the doctor. In other situations, when the disease can be overcome through the practice of yoga, then we should persist in our practice. Then Maharshi Patanjali says ki Sthana. Sthana is the lack of interest, which prevents us in doing yoga. But once we develop an habit, yoga is not so difficult to live. Means what happens, until and unless a habit is developed, we should not leave yoga. Because once yoga is also like a intoxication, like a addiction, but it's a positive addiction. The reason being the positive benefit it brings. Also it happens that after some times we begin to lose interest in yoga, but yoga is a long-term practice. Maharshi Patanjali says Dirghakalina Nairantariya Satkara Sevito, that it has to be practiced for a Dirghakalina Nairantariya, continuous, for a long term. And the challenge is to make yoga interesting. We can innovate a little, make it some changes we can introduce, make it interesting with some music, creativity and learning new skills to new teachers, new places of learning. We can go. That can make things interesting, but we should not give up yoga because it's for our health. It's helps in prevention of diseases. It helps us in many different ways. Okay, so we should never give up yoga. Yes, of course we can take sometimes some break. Samsaya, if we have doubts about yoga or yoga practice or its benefits, we shall never succeed. So doubts have to be kept at bay. The benefits are definitely in the short term, but they are even more in the long term. Yoga is life changing, life building. So samsaya is another doubt. Pramada. Pramada Maharshi Patanjali says like inertia, unwilling to apply work. Means we are not able to move, we are not willing to exercise, we are not willing to move our limbs, or hands and legs, or do the pranayama. That effort we don't want to make. It is someone who is happy to do nothing, just कुछ भी नहीं करके happy है. Idling one's time. Yoga needs effort, some application, some self motivation, drive. Daily we have to be ready with our mat. We have to start our practice in a systematic manner. So pramada has to go. Okay. Now Maharshi Patanjali says another obstacle is alasya, laziness. Alasya is nothing but laziness. If we are lazy, definitely we miss an appointment with one of the most beautiful thing in the world called yoga. So it's of course difficult to wake up early in the morning, and even more difficult when you sleep late. So first thing we have to make an habit is we have to sleep early. Maharshi Patanjali says atha yoga anusasanam. So we have to make an effort that we give up our laziness. We become active, agile, and then the workout becomes very easy. It's a habit that we have to frame. We have to give our old habits for a new habit, for some good habits. Then Maharishi Patanjali says it's avirati, too much attachment. Avirati means the mind is too deeply attached to external objects, and therefore it cannot pay due attention or concentration. In yoga, the mind can go in one places, but when the mind seeks gratification from other sorts, it cannot seek gratification from yoga. It will not be satisfied with yoga. So the mind has to be brought to yoga. Avirati must be removed. It's like a gambler who is happy playing his cards, and even if hunger or some important works, he will ignore that. Branti darshan is nothing but illusion, building castles in the air, building castles in the air. It is false imagination. हम लोग गलत कल्पनाएं सोच लेते हैं. Where yoga is being about realistic. Yoga is like it's a cause and effect relationship. False concepts, imagination, thought process, illusion, all this has to be removed. Then Maharshi Patanjali says alabdha bhumikatva, not attaining a position. It means we are not able to reach a desired point or level, and we become frustrated. But yoga needs persistence and patience. Alabdha bhumikatva, we are not able to reach a certain position, so we become frustrated and we give up yoga. But yoga needs persistence and patience. Even if you are not able to reach such a level, but we have to persist and patiently practice yoga, and one day it will be possible. Anavastitvani. Anavastitvani is not being able to maintain position. We have attained the position, we are not able. Anavastitvani means we are not able to maintain that position. Continuous practice is needed in yoga. We become satisfied and give up, this is bound to follow. So we should not be satisfied. We must regularly continue with our practice. Again, Maharshi Patanjali gives 4 sahabhuvas, okay, which are the consequences of all the 9 obstacles. So he gives the 4 related are the consequences of previous obstacle, that is dukkha, dharmanasya, angami jayatva, trembling of body, swasa praswasa, inhalation and exhalation being irregular, not rhythmic, vikshepa, distraction, sahabhava. These are the consequences of the previous obstacles. When we are lazy, definitely in life, or inertia, matlab pramad, when we are lazy or we have inertia, dukkha or pain is definitely going to follow. And we have all experienced, say we are lazy in making our effort in our daily earnings, definitely we will have financial problem, and that will result in dukkha or pain. Hence we must never avoid our duty. So dukkha dharmanisya angame jayatva. And when we have dukkha, when we have pramad, when we have branti darshana, when we have avirati, angame jayatva, and swasa praswasa, that our breathing becomes disturbed, that our breathing becomes irrhythmic, we become disturbed. As a result of chronic mental suffering also, the breathing gets disturbed. Breath is the indicator of the mind. So all these 9 obstacles cause imbalance in the body and brain. The hypothalamus controls our breathing, which can lead to irregular breathing pattern or disturbance in breathing, and also tremor in body. Now Maharshi Patanjali says that there are certain chitta prasadanam. Those are aids to yoga. These are called Maitri Karuna Mudita Upekshanam Sukha Dukkha Punya Punya Vishayanam Bhavana Chitta Prasadanam. Let us see each word. Maitri is friendship, Karuna is compassion, Daya, Mudita is pure joy or happiness, we are happy. Upekshanam is indifference. Sukha Dukkha, whom we should exercise Maitri? To the Sukha, to the friendliness, to the one who is happy. Karuna for whom? One who is dukkha, okay, one who is suffering. For that we should have karuna. Mudita means happy for the punyavan, one who is righteous deeds, one who performs the righteous, उसके प्रति हमारा पुण्य जो अच्छा काम कर रहा है. अपुण्य जो गलत काम कर रहा है उसको उपेक्षा, ignore him, don't fight him, don't get into an argument with him, rather say you are right, so that his all attacks and defense mechanisms are destroyed and he cannot get into you. Visayanam, bhavana, chitta prasadanam. These are the favorable dispositions towards yoga which help in your yoga practices. Okay, so Maharshi Patanjali says we must actually, this friendliness must be cultivated towards the world, compassion like Dalai Lama, the suffering, happiness towards the virtuous, and ignoring or disregard towards the wicked. Not only the wicked, those who argue with you, those who put up a fight with you, say them, just downplay them, or instead of an argument, just they say they are right, which breaks their attack mechanisms. So what is the suggestion that Maharshi Patanjali gives to overcome this 9 obstacles and this 4 sahabhuvas is that tat pratisheda artham, to remove those obstacles, ekatva abhyas, that is one pointed abhyas of yoga. These obstacles, Maharshi Patanjali says, can be removed through one pointed or single minded practice of yoga every day. Nairantariya Dirghakalena Nairantariya Satkar Sevito Dreddavomi, with Satkar, with reverence when we practice yoga, with for a long term and for a Dirghakalena Nairantariya, when we practice this, and Tat Pratishidartham Ekatva Abhyas. There is only one solution, that is Ekatva Abhyas. Through that we can remove all these obstacles that come in our yoga practice. So that is in small. So thank you so much. Have a nice day.